Hey guys, it's Zais. In this video, I'm just going to be going over the differences between the Fortified Shadow Priest build for Mythic Plus and the Tyrannical build. They're two completely different affixes. They affect gameplay massively. One of them increases the add throughout the dungeon's health and damage by a certain percentage, scaling higher and higher. Tyrannical is the opposite. Tyrannical increases the boss's health and the boss's damage by that percentage increasing as well. Both of them completely change how you look at the dungeon, how you pull different packs, how you behave on a boss fight. Perhaps some abilities that you would normally just stand in with a dispersion on Fortified, you won't be able to do on Tyrannical. And therefore, the different builds that you choose going forward with talents do change. And recently, people have been testing out a lot of different builds. You know, there's been some builds where you're looking at playing Mindflay Insanity for the boss damage that you would otherwise be missing out on. This actually gives you access to a lot of single target damage. So your Mindflay Insanity is going to be hitting average, 20k plus each tick, and you gain access to Mindflay Insanity by Devouring Plague on the target. On single target or AoE, if you Devour and Plague, you still get access to Mindflay Insanity. However, it does not cleave, it only does single target damage. So you're going from regular Mindflay, that will perhaps do 12 to 13k per tick, depending on your gear. That's just the average that I've seen on logs. To 20 to 25k easily on a single target tick. Again, the gameplay is different. So, for example, you don't want to Devour and Plague twice in a row. Ideally, you'll be able to fully channel Mindflay Insanity afterwards. And it does help on the boss damage. Shadow Priest is notoriously bad for boss damage, especially when you're going into a dungeon, because you don't go into a dungeon to do single target damage. Although we can talent into it, you're going to be benefiting the group a lot more by picking up that Mythic Plus talent build and doing a lot more damage on trash to help you progress through the dungeon quicker. Because even on a Tyrannical week, a lot of your time is spent doing trash instead of bosses. Bosses will still last 2 to 4 minutes, but there's only 3 bosses throughout a dungeon. You're going to be pulling trash for a lot longer than you are going to be pulling bosses for. So, this is the talent build you're going to be using regarding Mindflay Insanity. Instead of picking up the Screams of the Void, you're taking them away, you're taking away your Maddening Touches, and you're heading down the left-hand side to empower Mindbender. You're also going to be picking up Idol of Yasharaj, which is also different to what we have been doing, because a lot of people haven't been taking it, because the fear usages, the little niche parts of that actual talent, are kind of annoying to get your head around, and really annoying to put into practicality. So you're taking it just to get those condensed and harnessed shadows, increases your Mindbender damage, but the important part of this build is that you're picking up Mindflay Insanity. You can see it quite clearly, the build that you go down into. It's very nice. You still have your Idol of Yogg. You're still going to be getting your things from Beyond, which do pretty decent damage as well. But it does just give you access to priority single target and burst single target damage. So there are going to be some scenarios where you've used Devour and Plague and then your tank chain pulls and you're sitting there thinking, am I going to use up this Mindflay Insanity or am I going to go into Mindseer instead? The general rule of thumb is, if you're only on a single target encounter, or there's 2 targets, you will Devour and Plague and channel that Mindflay Insanity. Try not to overcast it, because you're going to be wasting a proc of Mindflay Insanity, and that is a lot of damage to lose out on. However, the moment you get a Mind Devourer proc, you Mindseer. The moment you go above 2 targets, you're Mindseering again. It's too much damage to miss out on. And the fact that you're taking Mindflay Insanity doesn't actually affect the dungeon on the gameplay, because you're still going to be Mindseering on single target even without it, right? Because it's your generator, it's how you generate Insanity to be able to Mindseer. However, because you are playing Idol of Yasharaj and your Mindbender's buffed, it complicates it a little bit. So, as normal, if you're playing Mindbender, if Mindbender's up, you're prioritizing your Mind Blast above everything, and your Shadow Word Deaths when in execute range. You would ignore Mindflay Insanity, but try not to let it run out. Try to make sure that you're casting it within those 10 seconds, just to make sure you're not missing out on free high damage. So, the other talent build that we've got is the one that I've normally been playing for Fortified, and it's the generic Shadow Priest Mythic plus 3. You know, you're picking up your Idler Cthulhu for your Mind Seer Tentacles and your Mind Flay Tentacles on single target. You're going to be using your Idol of Yogg-Saron for your Things from Beyond. And generally, you're going to be going ahead and playing the normal Mythic Plus build. You know, this is focused around getting up those tentacles, making sure you're generating Insanity, you're using your Mind Devourer procs, and the rotation's the exact same, except you will do a little bit lower boss damage. That's unavoidable. Without Mind Flay Insanity, there's not really a way for you to generate single target damage outside of going into Mind Spike, which is extremely advised against in Mythic Plus. Unless you don't really want to enjoy the game, you don't take Mind Spike. It's just not enjoyable. It's not engaging. You won't have fun doing it in a Mythic Plus environment. However, looking at the talents, there is room for changes. You know, you could still talent into your Shiraj in the Mythic Plus build, as some people do. You're still not taking the Condensed and Harnessed Shadows with this build. It's just because you're not going into your Shiraj, the buffs aren't necessarily worth it. You know, you're better off going into Cthulhu, getting Screams of the Void, which makes your dots tick quicker, which again, in a Mythic Plus environment, is huge damage to have. You know, you've got 6-7 targets, you know, you've Shadow Crashed, your Envoid Eruption, you've used your Halo up, and then you get a Mind Devourer proc, your dots are going to be ticking extremely quickly. You know, it's a lot of damage, especially on a Tyrannical week where Trash dies pretty quick. You're going to be finishing off that pack very quickly. So, with that, guys, I'm going to end it there. I just wanted to highlight the two different builds that we've got, you know, going forward into the Tyrannical and Fortified weeks. They are a bit different. You play it different. People can pick whatever talents they want still. You know, I'm not controlling that. Nobody can control what talent you pick. If you want to play a certain talent and you enjoy it, go for it. Nobody's going to stop you. However, on an interesting note, there's actually been some conversations going on in the Shadow Priest Discord, as well as some Liquid and Echo players. So, the top guilds are in a Discord with class developers, you know, and raid developers and all that from Blizzard's perspective. And Limit Max and Scribe, as well as some of the Shadow Priest theory crafters and simulation crafters, have said in this Discord the devs have essentially admitted that they're going to be buffing / changing Shadow Priest, which, you know, it's kind of required depending on how you look at it. We do really good damage, but we are lacking single target. So I wouldn't say no to a single target buff of a kind, but I don't want to label what I'd do because, you know, people's perspective changes. But fingers crossed we get that buff coming in. You know, it'll feel really nice, and we get to kind of get around the single target damage without having to take Mind Flay Insanity. Although I kind of enjoy it. It's nice to have something to press after you Devour and Plague on single target that you know is going to do decent damage. But with that, guys, I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope you're all doing well. You had a nice Christmas and New Year's. And if you're interested, feel free to join my Discord in the description below. I am going to be doing a series where I'm going to be taking another 2 Shadow Priests, and we're going to make a triple Shadow Priest comp, and we're going to complete all 15s in time, then all 20s in time, and it's going to be a consistent playlist going forward for the channel. I know it's been a bit dead recently, but I'm picking it up. You know, life's calmed down, I'm able to get on. I've got a proper schedule as well. For those of you that are always annoyed that I'm not streaming at a certain time, I've got a schedule in my Discord. I'm going to be following that to a T, so you can always rely on that. Raiding's happening again, so I'm going to be streaming a mixture of Raids and Mythic Plus, and I have a day specifically dedicated for editing videos and getting them out to you guys. So there's going to be at least a minimum 2-3 videos a week going forward. But with that, remember to like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I'm almost at 1k subs. That's crazy, and it's so quick how that came around, especially considering I've not really uploaded much. And, you know, I log on and I still see the subs going up, and it makes me so happy, guys. So thank you so much for that. And with that, I'll leave you be. I hope you all take care, and I'll see you next time. Peace.